Hello,
Hi,
Ellie.
Ursula.
It is so good to see you. Hi, everybody. And I want to introduce you to a really, really good friend and fellow coach, Alison Lee, who is Canadian. Um, uh, Ellie and I met, oh my goodness,
Long
10
time ago,
years ago,
at
anyway,
least. Yeah.
a very, very long time ago. Ellie is an executive coach and motivational speaker, and her specialty, her niche is coaching financial advisors. So you are the perfect person
Mhm.
for this interview, really looking at prosperity mindset, especially as it relates to financial advisors and their clients, how they deal with that, what it means. And so I'm really looking forward to your wisdom and insight.
It's great to be here, Ursula. Thank you.
So, yeah, so question number one, I've got one here, is really this whole definition of prosperity. I
Mm,
find that people have got sometimes a weird opinion of what it should be or could be.
mhm.
So in your coaching experience with your clients, like, is there a definition and what might it be?
That's really interesting because what I find is most of the financial advisors that I work with have come to me at a stage where they're successful. And, they're not starting out, they've already reached a level and they're coming to try to get to the next level. And what I find is that their definition of prosperity changes with their age and experience.
Oh,
So when
interesting.
they talk to me about how they got into the business, a lot of it really is what you've seen in the movies where they're, using the phone book and just calling, dialing, cold calling. And also just really the prosperity at that point is just trying to get clients,
Yes.
trying to get an income, get
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
and status, especially if they're at a large firm. So just,
Mhm.
starting to get to move up that ladder. And but there is a lot about moving up that ladder and getting a level of prestige. So
Yeah.
that's what I find in the beginning. What I hear,
Right.
prosperity is really all about the money, and they're often working towards buying a home, maybe getting married and starting a family. And so that it's mostly about the money that is most important. And then when I start working with them, mostly they're thinking, well, what's next? Their level, they have that financial security, that
Yeah.
financial success, and now they really realize that there is more. And
Well,
so, mhm,
well, and I think, coaching is about more. And I think,
mhm,
for us as coaches, I see this in my clients.
mhm,
It's really actually helping them define what prosperity is. Success, prosperity does not necessarily equate happiness. And I think for us as coaches, when we look at values and what really makes you happy, those are the ideal, coaching conversations that maybe the younger groups, the younger people in that field never have an opportunity to really talk about or think about.
no, because they're just trying to survive, right?
Yeah.
It's a very,
Yeah.
very competitive environment to get in, and they
Mhm.
have to prove their worth
Yes.
really quite early on. But what I like about what I really love about working with my clients is a lot of them really do have that broader definition of prosperity. They want to spend more time with their families. They
Mm.
want the freedom to do the things that they want to do. Maybe have a vacation home they can actually spend time at.
Yeah.
And another thing I see is that they've realized that, they can't help everyone. And in
Oh.
order, right?
Mhm.
And in order for them to build their business, grow, and be able to have a really big impact on the people they're working with, we're actually talking about reducing the clients they work with and working with
Mhm.
wealthier clients with
Mm.
more complex financial
Yes.
situations. And part of that is as well just using their expertise and their
Yeah.
experience.
And their
to
experience.
do that. So that's a shift for them, because a lot of them, they don't want to reduce their client load, or they feel bad because their clients have helped them grow their business. But they
Yes.
really realize that for that definition of prosperity, which
Yeah.
really, as I said, for them is about family and that freedom, and
Yeah.
not working the 80-hour weeks.
Yeah. No, that's
Mhm.
interesting that you say that. I work currently with a financial advisor who has her own firm. So it's
Mm.
a small firm, but she really is looking right now at what is my ideal client,
Mhm.
and are there the sort of less complex, smaller situations, I can give that to the financial advisors that I
Yeah.
have in the firm that I just starting, and I am keeping the more complex, individuals as well as couples and families. And
Mhm.
so really this definition of for them as what is the ideal client, but also
Yeah.
for her, you and I have talked about this many times before, the difference between form and experience.
Mhm.
There is the form of success, the corner office,
Yes.
the title, the status. But that's just all, form, that's all exterior. And
Mhm.
then the experience piece is really, how do we feel going to work on a daily basis? How do we feel working with these clients? How do we feel at the end of the day? What is the experience I want my life to be? And I
Mhm.
think that's a completely different conversation.
It is, and a lot of times I feel that they can't get to that level until they have that financial security,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And also is for a lot of them, especially that are working in the larger firms, is they a lot of times there's a list that comes out every week that ranks them
Oh,
on what new assets they brought in, what new clients, where they stand. So it's an environment that
mm.
just breeds that thinking,
That
right?
form
That
thinking.
form,
Am
right?
I
They're
on the list?
constantly
And where
comparing
am I
themselves
on the
to
list?
others. Yeah, it's exhausting. And I have some clients who said, I just don't want to look at that list. I wish we
Yeah.
didn't send it out. And I think some firms are moving away from that, although people always like to know how they're doing. But really it's a habit that I think they can get out of, because it's not the important part. As you just said, it's all about that's all about the form and not anything about the
But
experience.
it's hard for financial advisors to break out of this, because I think it's a cultural thing.
Very.
It's in that environment, in that career arena. It's just the culture of
Yeah.
statistics, and the list, and where are you, and all that. So I know that when we sort of talk about our own limits, and
Mhm.
thinking, oh, I have to be on this list and I can't drop down to number 35, I have to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Is there some fear that they need to overcome in order to just ignore that list, or see the list as just information but not sort of the guiding principle?
Uh, Definitely. And I think part of it is releasing that mindset of scarcity
Yes.
and really embracing a mindset of abundance, which is a very big move, right? It's a
Yes.
very big move, because when they're looking at that list and they're saying, well, why
Yes.
did Joe down the hall get those new assets and I didn't? So
Yes.
it's a really big shift for advisors, and it's really, they need to be brave to work on it, to do it. And it's, as I said, it's a habit they have for so long, because when they start out as well, we have a joke, they'll take anything that fogs a mirror, right? Anything that
Yes.
breathes.
Anything
And
that talks to me, I love that.
to move to that mindset of, I don't have to take everyone. In fact, I
Yes.
can't take everyone and live the life that I want to live.
Yeah.
So that whole scarcity is,
Yeah.
moving to the abundance of, there is business for everyone. There is
Well,
enough.
Absolutely, you're absolutely. I mean, and this is, as I am in the area of prosperity coaching, and I
Hmm.
think this really speaks to trust. I think that in order for us to really believe that there is enough for everybody, we have to really trust that there is enough for everybody. We have
Hmm.
to trust that our own uniqueness and what we bring to the table is enough, and that the right clients will be a match for us rather than, as you say, anything that sort of fogs the mirror. And that trust is really can be hard to come by. So what do you think is what's a good mindset shift from scarcity to this abundance in your experience? What
What do
changes, how do people change their brains, their minds?
there's a lot of changing that perspective,
Yes.
right? And
Mhm.
then there's also really staking that claim of that, I'm building this life that I want. And in order to do that, I can't take on everyone.
Yes.
Or, when there is business for everyone, because there are one big risk in the financial services industry right now is the robo advisor, right? Everyone thinks that they can do it themselves and just, do it on the computer. And so that's another scarcity mindset. So the more people that still count on the wonderful trusted advice of financial advisors, right, and talk about that, the more people will actually use them. The business can actually still grow,
Yeah.
and move away from that robo advisor. So I really think that's a big shift. Also, I have clients. I just had one the other day who, was meeting with a new prospect, and in doing his discovery interview with her, he realized this is not a good fit for me.
Mm.
And even though she had a level of assets he would have been interested in managing, but he just thought she is going to cause a lot of angst, and the way we work is not a good fit. And it was so empowering for
Yeah.
him to
Yes.
actually say, for what you are looking for, we are not a fit. Whereas before, he would have taken
Just
her on.
taken
So
her.
I
Right.
think it's thinking about not just the financials of taking on a client, but how that will impact, the rest of your business. And I always say, if your phone rings and you look at that number and you cringe,
Yeah.
not the client.
That's a
Not,
problem.
yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Well, and I really love what you're saying because, in the financial advisor training program that we have, we really are wanting to help financial advisors to really dig into this other side of the
Mhm.
client, the values that the client holds, what's important for them, the vision
Yeah.
that they have for their, retirement, or for their kids, graduation, or whatever is, the next stage. Because I know that it's not just about money. And
Not.
I, from a client perspective who has a financial advisor, I know for me it is just as important to be asked, so, now what is your vision for next year, given that we
Absolutely.
have this number now?
Hmm.
uh, and connecting these two pieces that are both a structure and then are also more, big picture. And of course, that's so brain related. That's, right hemisphere, left hemisphere. And I think, financial advisors need to bring both aspects in for
Hmm.
the client to be really happy, but also for the advisor to really know what they're dealing with.
Right, right. Being able to understand the client fully to give the best advice, but also having those relationships that I call professionally intimate,
Oh,
right?
I like that.
That you really get to know them on a deep level. Money is
Yes.
very personal, and what they
Yeah,
want in their lives and what's keeping them up at night is very personal. And so
it
I
is.
love that you're helping advisors have those deep conversations, because that's when they can really make a significant impact on their clients' lives.
Well, and we are doing this interview while we're still in COVID. It's October
Yeah.
2020, and I'm collaborating in this training program with a former financial advisor, and she said, it really is also helping financial advisors with I think there's the 5 Ds: death, divorce, and then there's a couple of others, and I've forgotten what they are. But I'm really thinking about the economy right now, and how many clients of financial advisors must be either frustrated or scared,
Hmm.
anxious. And to have a financial advisor that is able to be with that emotion rather than to just focus on the number, I
Right.
think it's super important.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very important.
Because emotions, as you say, money is emotional, and depending what situation we find ourselves, clients can really lose sleep over, you
Oh,
know
yeah. Oh,
where
yeah.
they are. So what have you learned about prosperity, working with financial advisors for so many years, being a coach?
Well, as you said, we are in interesting times. And one thing with financial advisors that I find is they get to a level and they say to me, Ali, why should I want more? I'm blessed. I already, I've got a good business, I've got a great family, I've got enough money. Why should I want more?
Yes.
Yet they do. They
Good
do.
question. I love that.
Yes. And what I see it, how I was thinking about this, and first of all, I think it's we don't want to invalidate our own feelings, our own, what we want, just because we might be in form wise have more money or more stability than someone else. Someone else is always better off or worse off in one way, in
Yeah.
some way than we are.
Yeah.
And what it came down to for me with prosperity was having a full mind and a full heart. And what I mean by that is by a full mind, and it's not a technical term, but that you're using all of your expertise, your experience to that potential where you go through a day and you say, was I well used? Did
Mm.
I
Mhm.
contribute with all
Mhm.
of my experience and expertise? So that's what I
Mhm.
think of the full mind. And then
Mhm.
when I say the full heart, it's doing those things that bring you joy. It's having those intimate relationships. It's taking the time to do that. And so I think that, prosperity, it's not just about, money and work, and it's not just about feeling joy. I think you need both of those.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's when I feel really that I'm prosperous, is when both of those sides are, full up.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, again, it speaks to various aspects of the brain again as well,
Hmm.
because being fully used, being using your expertise, making a difference. It's really about honoring your values, and then also sort of looking again at the bigger picture of your own dreams and what you're wanting, for yourself and your
Hmm.
family. And I really love the question of, why would I want more? Because I think also culturally, we are a
Hmm.
little bit sort of indoctrinated and influenced by more is better.
Yes.
And I think for some people, and I have to say this is really true for me, more is not better. I am at a stage
Hmm.
in my life where actually less is better.
Yes.
More is more complicated. It takes more maintenance. It's more complex. So giving people permission to have the size and the life that they want,
Hmm.
and help them design it in a way that's really uniquely theirs,
Right.
also takes some coaching and some training in regards to, well, there's the culture out there and the cultural beliefs, but what's a fit for you?
Right.
What's out
Right.
there culturally might not be a
Yeah.
fit for you, and somehow we have to learn to just overcome that, and really
Yeah.
look at what makes us happy.
And in that industry, that is not a common question,
I
right?
yes, because I
Yeah.
think more, it seems always
Yeah.
better. I listened
Yeah.
to a very, very interesting podcast. Was actually a TED talk.
Hmm.
I can now not remember the name of the woman, but she's written the book called The Donut Economy. And
Oh.
she has a lovely TED talk. And she really is, she's an economist. So she looks at the sort of the economy mindset of growth. It has to be
Mm,
growth, growth, growth. And she
mhm.
says in her talk and in the book that it's not sustainable. Our growth mindset is not sustainable on so many levels, for the
Yeah,
environment, for
right.
economies, for human beings. So it's really looking at what is sustainable. And
Right.
I really love that for us personally, is saying, what do we want?
Hmm.
What makes us happy, and what's sustainable, rather
Hmm.
than growth, 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 which is not sustainable.
No, no, it's not.
So, well, well, Ellie, thank you so very much for
Oh,
your
you are welcome,
insight,
Ursula.
and your background in coaching financial advisors is just so valuable. And we hope that anyone who is listening, whether they are a financial advisor or not a financial advisor, feels inspired to look at their own life and take a step back from the culture,
Hmm.
whether it's your family culture, the country you're in, the organization you're in, and stepping back and saying, how much is the culture influencing what I really want?
Right.
Is that still true for me? Is this what I want uniquely? Is that the design of the life that I want? And sort of step back from what the outside world and what consensus reality said we
Yeah.
should be or we should have.
Yeah.
And you, as
Important.
the executive coach, you help them come to that values based life. So
Yeah.
yeah, so thanks very much,
Good.
Ellie. Take good care, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yes. Thanks, Ursula.
Okay,
Bye bye.
bye bye, take care.